The listeners are saying, give the chair to Bernie Kerik, man. How you doing, Bernie? And good morning to you, my friend.
I'm good, Joe. How are you?
Well, listen, I'm talking to now, Commissioner, and I've known you many years, and we're like friends and everything. And now I'm talking to one of the most powerful cats in the country. I'm telling you, Bernie, oh my gosh, give us the breakdown if you would. Let me say, Commissioner, let's make it like, okay, we're doing a news talk show here, Bernie, and we'll put all the friendships aside. Did you talk to the president about Eddie Gallagher? Everything that you put in play when you brought the legal team in for Eddie Gallagher is coming to fruition. And then after that, I got a couple favors I'd like to ask of you, Godfather, if you don't mind.
Well, listen, I can't say, the legal team and I were talking about this the other day. When I wrote an article about Eddie Gallagher in December of last year, just about a year ago.
Yeah.
And never did I think, and at that time I didn't know him, I didn't know his wife, I didn't know his brother, I knew no one other than what I had read in the news, and I was concerned about it. I thought it was wrong what they were doing to him. Never at that point did I think that article that I wrote would eventually lead to something that happened over the weekend, which was, in my opinion, tragic. It should not have happened. I feel bad that the secretary had to be removed, but I will say, Joe, that it was absolutely the right decision on behalf of the president. This is a case that from the very beginning was corrupt. It was an unethical, and people engaged in unethical and criminal conduct in an attempt to torture, harass, target a 20-year Navy veteran with 8 combat tours, a highly decorated veteran. And in the end, you have, the Navy Secretary, Admiral Cullen Green, Admiral Rosenblum. These people, one step after another, just would not let justice take its course,
Yeah.
and did everything in their power to destroy this man. And the president saw through it. I have to give an enormous amount of credit to Mark Mukasey and Tim Parlatore, the legal team, the lawyers involved. There were other lawyers involved too, but these guys led the way. In the end, Eddie will be retiring in 4 days, as the president says, and as the Secretary of Defense has now said, peacefully, and let him move on and live with his family and go on with his life.
And he's keeping the Trident, the Navy SEALs Trident. He gets to keep that as well.
Yes, sir. He's keeping the Trident, too.
So walk us through, if you would briefly, Commissioner, how you got the legal team together. And I know you're humble in that regard, but you did put the legal team together for Eddie Gallagher. And then after the case goes away, why did the Navy keep pursuing this, Bernie?
Well, in the beginning, I had learned about the case through social media. Somebody sent me an article about it. I did some research. I wrote my own piece in Newsmax back in December of last year, I think December 3rd. And over the next month or two, I got to know Andrea Gallagher, Eddie's wife, and his brother, Sean.
Yeah, great
and
folks.
I came to realize that the legal team that they had in place wasn't doing what they should have been doing. Eddie Gallagher was in pretrial detention at the time with no justification. The military didn't have the justification to keep him there. There were no motions to get him out. There was a lot of stuff that the legal team should have been doing, could have been doing, was not doing. And I finally called Andrea, I guess, back in February of last year, and I said, look, I have to tell you, your legal team is terrible, and I think you need to find new lawyers, or this guy's going to go to prison for the rest of his life. So I recommended they talk to Tim Parlatore. Within 2 weeks, 3 weeks after that, I got Mark Mukasey to come on.
Yeah.
Mark saw all about the case in the news, was talking to me about it. I told him I was involved, got him involved. And then from that point on, we pretty much, the three of us, packed up our stuff, as you recall, went to San Diego.
Yep.
I was there for 9 weeks.
Man.
And worked prior to, and then sat through the 3-week trial. And in conclusion, Eddie, in conclusion, we determined and exposed the Navy for being corrupt, being engaged in unethical and criminal conduct. They basically eavesdropped in our emails, which is illegal. They put a tracking beacon on our emails to determine who we were talking to and where we were sending our emails and who we were forwarding them to. That's something you go to jail for.
Yeah.
And today, none of those prosecutors have yet to be held accountable.
Wow.
We put, the government put the star witness on the stand, their star witness, who they had questioned 7 different times, and never, not once, did they ask him who killed the terrorist. 7 times they talked to him.
Yeah.
They put him on the stand. We asked him who killed the terrorist, and he admitted that he did, not Eddie Gallagher. And at that point, under any other circumstance, Joe, in any other court in the land, the case would have been thrown out. But the Navy, no, we're moving forward. And at the end, Eddie was acquitted of all charges with the exception of taking a photo with a dead terrorist detainee with 10 other service members, including his superior lieutenant. Well, at that point, you would think, okay, it's over. It's got to be over. No, they wanted Eddie demoted. They wanted basically Eddie destroyed. They never charged any of these 10 other guys in the photo with an administrative charge, with criminal charges. They tried to take his rank. The president intervened. Then the president had to intervene 3 times. 1, to get him out of solitary confinement. 2, after the trial, after the Navy guys, the prosecutors engaged in this unethical and criminal conduct, the Navy gave them Navy service medals, achievement medals. And the president reversed them, basically saying, you guys are bad guys. You didn't do a good job. You did a bad job, and now you're being awarded these medals.
Yeah.
The president took them back. Then they demoted Eddie. They demoted him again. He had already been demoted, lost the Silver Star, and lost the coveted teaching position. They demoted him again. So the president reversed that. In 3 days after the president reversed his demotion, 3 days, the Admiral Green calls him in and tells him, oh, now you're going before the Trident Review Board, and we're going to pull you out of the Navy SEALs 10 days before he retires.
Wow. So I
think the president, the president had enough. Like, enough. What are you doing? You could use some common sense.
It's so true. Bernie, we're watching a breaking story 9:15 right now with Bernard Kerik with Piscopo on AM 970. The Answer: airspace violation reported in Washington, D.C. Fighter jets have been scrambled. Law enforcement officials tell, this is from NBC News, take it for what it's worth, but I'm seeing it on all the news now. It looks like the White House is on lockdown, and we'll keep you posted on all of that. What a crazy time. Bernard Kerik, may I ask you, and if you can't answer it, I understand. You made a couple calls to your friend Donald J. Trump. Maybe he called you, a little conversation back and forth. Can we reveal that on the air, Bernie?
No. 100% no, Joe.
I know.
And
you're not even Italian. You don't talk. I love that about you, man.
No, but listen.
Yes, sir.
And I'm dead serious.
Yes, sir.
And this is really important because the press, the CBS, NBC, especially CNN, they have consistently written about me and Mark Mukasey being friends with the president, knowing the president, and we, behind the scenes, were going to the president. 100% false. We never went to the president. We never spoke to the president.
Wow.
The whole focus of the case came to light when we had Eddie go on Fox News, when Pete Hegseth on Fox News brought the case to light, talked about the injustices, talked about the unethical and criminal conduct in the case, and then the national media promoted basically all the stuff that was going on, the medic that admitted he killed the terrorist, all that stuff. The president watched this stuff, and he was outraged, as he should have been, and he took action. So I give the president an enormous amount of credit. The shame of this, Joe, is the president should have never had to get involved.
Yeah, you're right.
We should have had leadership in the Navy SEALs. We should have leadership in special operations, whether it's the Army or any of these other armed forces, that basically looks out for their guys and doesn't try to destroy them for political reasons. And in this case, that's what was going on.
What can you tell us about those other military pardons that were issued a couple of weeks ago, Commissioner?
Well, you have Clint Lawrence, who spent 7 years, I think, 7 years out of a 20-year term, involved in a shooting in Iraq or Afghanistan, and then you had Matt Goldstein, who was charged with killing a bomb maker, a terrorist bomb maker. That he admitted to, was investigated almost 10 years ago, and then they come back and charge him again when they have new commanders. Here's the problem, Joe. When you're in the enlisted rank of the military, and you're a war fighter, you go out. What you do is you focus on doing your job. Your job. You have to do bad things to bad people. You're going out and you're killing the enemy. And you have officers that could be phenomenal officers until they get up to the rank of one-star general. From that point forward, it's all political. These are political appointments, 1-star and up. Once they get to that position, and the presidents have to get involved, and Senate has to get involved, and all that other stuff, these guys change.
Yeah.
And they're too busy worried about their careers and worried about their futures that they're not paying attention to the men and women under them. And you have, Captain Colin Green, who's the commander of WARCOM. He should be removed and told to go home and retire.
Wow.
Captain Rosenblum, who was the Commodore of the U.S. Navy SEALs. This amazes me. This guy is now the ethics officer somehow in the Navy SEALs. This guy oversaw this whole corrupt criminal investigation that was, where these guys were engaging in criminal conduct, the prosecutors, and he's overseeing some ethics stuff now. These guys have to go.
Yeah.
They've got to go. They can't stay in the positions they're in.
And Commissioner, it was great to be with you at dinner in Jersey, and then we met Eddie and his wife and the brother and the other SEALs and a great team. So, I was going to say congratulations, but it's not that. Thanks for doing the right thing, I think is the proper thing to say, Commissioner. Bernie.
Joe, I'm just glad it's over for Eddie. I was on the phone with him late last night. He's going to fly home tomorrow for Thanksgiving for a day or two. Then he's going back to San Diego, and he's basically going to check out, pack up his stuff, and he'll be out of the Navy on November 30th. He's got 4 days to go. Hopefully, Admiral Green and his subcommanders will, just leave him alone for the next 3 or 4 days and let him get out.
Yeah. Commissioner, happy Thanksgiving, Bernie, to you and your family. Send in love, Commissioner. I always appreciate you jumping on the show with us, Bernie. God bless it, and
Thanks, Joe.
Have a great holiday. Thank you. Commissioner Bernard Kerik right there.